ZPO, good morning. K Adams 585, welcome to the live. Thank you for joining the hashtag. I'm gonna say it. Calvin Jones 360, welcome in. Laverne, I see you. Welcome in. Welcome in. Valerie, lovely. Old school John, what up? Marie, what up, bestie? How you doing? Grand rising to you. How you doing? Born, born in 1952. Welcome in. Cindy, user BH066M Bray. I think that's what it says. Welcome in. Teresa, welcome in. Teresa joining us today. All right, it's 10 o'clock. How's everybody doing on this terrific Tuesday? It is my prayer that all is well your way. Before we get into the show, we have to add our disclaimer, okay? So we're going to do that now.
All things said in today's episode is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. If you are below the age of 18, we ask that you leave the live now.
Okay. I am your self-proclaimed favorite news reporter, Mr. Breaking News, and this is hashtag I'm gonna say it. And it's where we take events that's going on today and I speak on them. Some things I say you're gonna like, some things I say you're not gonna like. But either way, I'm gonna say it. Bestie, good morning, good morning. I just texted you. I hope you're doing fine this morning. Doing well? Now, in addition, okay, let's say this for all of our new people that's coming in. Ordinarily, on the day, we talk about celebrity things that's going on. And we'll have some of that today as well, as usual. But we also have a civic duty to bring awareness to things. And so we choose to do that as well. And so today, I want to do just that. I want to bring awareness. For one reason, because it's right here close to home. It's at my doorstep. But overall, the reason why I want to bring it to your attention and make you aware of it is because I care about all of you. And even though it's a lot of women that this is pertaining to, it can go for men. So I'm bringing it to you all's attention, not only to save the ladies, but the men as well. We got to be cautious people. And I'm not sure how many people have heard this in the news because we all don't live in the same metropolitan area, same cities or whatnot. So, but here in my city, there is a serial unaliver who is posting job listings on Indeed. And these people are reaching out or applying for that job. And when they go for the interview, they're no longer seen or heard from. All right. And it hasn't been caught yet. Right. Good morning, Rose. Thank you for that heart, me love. How you doing, beautiful? Now, I'm not in no shape, form, or fashion trying to blame Indeed for this. However, I am saying that in a time where looking for a job is important and people are, the way the economy is, people are going to try to apply for jobs. And I really need you all to be careful and be safe. Marie says, yes, thank you for speaking on this. Absolutely, bestie. Absolutely. I care about you all. I don't care where you are. We're family. And I don't want anything to happen to my family. And a lot of you, I know for a fact, because we meet every day, have kind, pure, genuine heart. And I'm pretty sure these people had the same thing when they set out to go apply for this job. They had no idea that they were going to meet the fate that they done. So or the fate that they did. So we're going to play some audio on this. And these are people talking about it, but it's also a couple of individual ladies that went to apply for the job, for a job, not this one per se, but and some crazy things happened to them. Now, there's one lady that is here from Atlanta, and her daughter went to the job interview. You know what? I'm telling you too much. I'm just going to let you all hear, okay? Now, I will say there's one lady on here. She talks fast. It's sped up. I don't know why. But when she talks about her experience, it's sped up and it's hard to understand what she's saying, I'm gonna apologize in advance for that. But it's her content, so I can't do anything about it. Also, we have a lady who's foreign. I'm assuming she's foreign due to her accent, and it may be hard. I mean, you could understand her a little more, but because of the accent, it may be hard to hear. But once again, that's her content and her story. Okay, so without further ado, we're gonna get started on it.
Y'all, there is a serial unaliver on Indeed, allegedly. This is crazy. So I just did some digging into this, and allegedly, there is something going on where people are getting basically abducted, unalived in Atlanta after applying for this one particular position. Now, it's creepy because the position has been removed and it's only on there for a certain period of time. You know, the person applies just like any other job, and they receive a text message to their phone. And this text message says, like,
Okay, Bessie,
hey,
I'll
my
try
name is
that.
so and so. We like to have you for an interview at this location. And it's like a personal phone number or text down number that's texting them. And people have met up with the person allegedly and were unalived. And they don't know who's behind this or what's behind this. This is scary, okay? Especially with this recession coming up and, you know, us being in economic times where jobs are even harder to find and people are really, really, really looking for jobs. This is scary. So be on the lookout in Atlanta when you're applying for work, just because, like I said, I hear a lot of people are getting these weird texts. And if the text message or the email is not a business text or a business number, or I should say business email, do not text it
The
back. Do
one,
not go there. Do not meet
hold on.
them because
Yeah, RV Zumi, the daughter that I was talking about, the lady. I think she brings up something about she did look up the address. Marie says we need to be careful as well with these jobs who are sending emails saying they're interested in you. Exactly, exactly. Hey, welcome to the live, Jess, and good morning, Bestie. Absolutely, Marie. Got to be more careful. Got to we just got to be.
I don't know what is going on, but all I know is something creepy and sinister is going on. I don't know if this is a trafficking ring. Like, it's just so strange and creepy. But I do hear it's only in Atlanta, Georgia right now. The person who's doing this or behind this, it's not a legit job. It's a scam. And this person is trying to unalive people. You know, some of these employment scams are just to get your social and stuff like that. And, you know, that's already horrific enough. But this right here is scary. So be careful. Make sure you
Right,
don't put your
Bessie.
personal
A lot of them are
identity
scams.
information on there. Because they're doing a lot of weird stuff right now with people
Rose says
being
I get them
so,
all
you
the
know,
time.
needing
Please
the
be careful,
jobs,
Bessie.
second jobs.
Please be
People
careful.
need work 3 jobs nowadays to be able to afford eggs. So yeah, just be careful because I keep hearing there is an update on the missing people after going to a job interview that was posted on Indeed, or should I say a job application being put in from a, you know, a hiring manager that posted the job on Indeed. Now there are a total of 17 missing people after, you know, going to the same exact job interview. This is so disturbing. This happened in Atlanta, Georgia. All these people tend to be women or girls, young girls, teenagers, young women between the ages of 20, in their 20s, 27, 35. These are the names of everyone. Everyone's saying that this isn't real. This is real, y'all. Please be careful. Like I said, there are scams out there to, you know, risk, you know, your identity being stolen or anything like that. Just make sure that you're putting an application in with a legitimate company. Like I said, the 17 people that are missing are actually missing people. This isn't made up. And I'm not 100% sure what job this was for. It just was a listing or a posting, and it, you know, it led to a virtual interview, or not a virtual interview, a link being sent to go to an interview. And the name of this person, the identity of the person that the job was linked back.
Now hold on. I want to pause right there because yeah, somebody said, "Oh my gosh, that's scary." Who said that? Just saying, yes, yes, it is. It's very scary. RV Zumi says, "Is it a text now number? Because if not, then they can track it through the phone carrier." That's true. I'm not sure to the answer to that, RV Zoomy. But I can tell you that once what they do is they post the job, and then when the person comes in and that person goes missing, they take the job posting down. And then when they're ready to do it again, they'll repost or post another job opening, only to do the same thing. Right, right, and that's what they're saying. That's what they're calling it. Jesse, and here in Atlanta. Yep, that's exactly what they're calling it, a serial unaliver.
Back to would, get deleted and then put back up later. Like I said, when you do apply for a place, please make sure that you're not putting in your personal information or details or going up to an address that is not real or address that seems.
Have y'all heard about them people who apply for those jobs on Indeed, showed up to the interview and went missing? If you haven't, you can go search it up and follow that story. But
now this lady talking right here is the one with the daughter that I was telling you about that went to the job interview, but I'm not going to tell you what happened.
It kind of makes me think of this interview that my daughter literally just went on last week. So the job was supposed to be for DraftKings. And this is not to call out DraftKings or anything like that. I'm just telling a story of how it was presented to my daughter. So to start, my daughter had a phone interview with a woman who my daughter said the interview went very well with. The lady pretty much told her, "You're exactly what we're looking for." She was then invited for an in-person interview. She got an email that had the details of time, date, location, yada, yada. When my daughter first got the email, she pulled up the address that they sent her. And my daughter came to me and she was like, "Mom, this place looks kind of janky, but I'm going to go see what they're talking about." And I just want to insert that my daughter was unemployed for about a month, maybe more. So you know that feeling of like, I need a job. So she was just like, I'm going to go see what they're talking about. So my daughter shows up to the interview, and as she suspects, the place is janky on the outside and janky on the inside. She basically described it as a place that does not look like a real place of employment with like real employees.
Good morning, Carlos.
She said it was just like, it looked like kind of like a room and like another little room, and she said there was nothing but men in the back. Guy comes from the back.
I'm done spending an obscene amount of money on
Hold on, let's get past this commercial. Then we'll get back to it.
This seems so.
And they had like a little bit of an exchange because apparently there was some confusion about the time she was supposed to be there. Ends up having to go to the back and tells her he'll be right back. But my daughter wasn't feeling the vibes from the moment she got there. And she said that he was kind of shifty, like just the vibes were off. In addition to there being nothing but men in this building. She said when he went to the back, she had a moment to think and left. She said she felt very uncomfortable, so I'm glad that she had enough discernment to get the hell up out of there. Now, this is not to say that that job was not a legitimate job, but I'm the type of person like, if it looks like bullshit and feels like bullshit, it's probably some bullshit. And I pray for discernment, not only for myself, but for my children as well. So I'm glad that she had the discernment that she felt like she wasn't in a good situation. But it is so disheartening and so extremely sad that people who are unemployed, who are looking for real jobs, are falling into a trap because it looks good, it seems legit. They're showing up to these places to never be seen again. Likely traffic.
Facts, RV Zoomy.
So please, please, please.
Hey, Grand Rising, little brother.
Listen to your gut. Listen to that little voice in your head. Okay, that's your discernment talking. And if you don't have discernment, pray for it. Pray for it for yourself and your loved ones. Because these people have gotten very, very clever. So it is so important that you have discernment. Y'all stay safe out there.
Alleged.
All right. Okay. First and foremost. Okay. I can't after the show. Yes, I definitely will. Hey, good morning, baby girl. Daddy's girl is in here. My oldest daughter just came in, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. You and baby, you listen as well. Hey, they still haven't caught serial unaliver that's posting the job on Indeed and stuff like that, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But let's thank God that this lady's daughter had enough wherewithal, enough discernment to say, hey, my spinies is telling me that something is not right here. I need to get out of here. And when the man went to the back, she immediately got out of there. You know? Nah, baby girl, we're going to stop that. We're going to stop that. Or, okay, I'll put it like this. I won't tell you to stop, but I'm going to say, make sure you do your research on the place and the company first. Okay? Because as it stands right now, as of today, we're what? Tuesday, April, what are we on? April 15th? There's 17 people missing right now. That's unaccounted for. Okay? Marie, you said you want to share a couple of things with us too. You want to come up in the panel near the, at the end or what? You can. Just let me know what you want to do, bestie. Hey, thank you for that crown, little brother. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. I'll definitely bring you up. Bestie. So, now this is the lady I told you all. She talks fast. All right, now I got it on normal playback. So, maybe if I try here, let's see what it sounds like.
Indeed, because I just seen this other lady TikTok who was talking about how she had an interview and this guy had called her for it.
Can you all hear that? It sounds like robotic on my end, but can you all hear it? RV Zumi says, I hope they have a lead because it's a lot of cyber attacking. Not yet, they don't. They have no clue on who it could be or anything. And so we just, it's wild out here. Okay, you all can hear? Okay, cool.
Interview at like 7 a.m. for a warehouse cleaning position. I have a similar story. My interview was not at night. My interview is not in Florida. My interview is in Chicago in broad daylight in Starbucks right downtown. So this is how I know it's human trafficking, and I'm just going to shorten it up because I don't even want to be long-winded.
We love TikTok Shop.
So the interview has said that they were the post on Indeed has said that they were immediately hiring and they had weekly pay. At the time, I really needed a job, so I
Good
was like,
idea,
hey,
RP Zoom.
perfect.
Start
That's
the
the
cops
perfect
block
job for me. So I had got the interview, and I think I scheduled one for the following day. So I went to the Starbucks. There was
Just
already
says, can they run
interviewing
where the
this
IP number
gentleman
came
ahead
from
of me,
or whatever?
and the interview was very.
I'm not sure if they can't. I'm not sure because it's like they post and then they take it down, and then post and then take it down after they, get a new victim. So I don't know if that's what makes it, because they don't know what the post is or who's. You see what I'm saying? What company or what it says or anything. So it's kind of like a phantom thing. Like once they. I'm trying to see how I can put it. So once they post the job, and people apply for, a person apply for, they pick who they want. Then after they've gotten that person that they wanted, like that job calms down. Like when they know that I guess they have that person coming in or whatnot, is pulled down. So I don't know if that's what's hindering LEOs in, pinpointing where it's coming from or who it is or anything like that. Right. And a lot of, from what I know, they're calling it a serial unaliver. However, some news reporters here just say it's 17 people missing.
long-winded, and I had waited for at least 30 minutes for him to finish up his interview. In my head, I'm thinking, oh, this is a little bit unprofessional, but in my head, I'm also thinking it is weekly pay, so what can you expect from this type of job? So boom, it gets to my interview, and she asked me all these questions, yada yada, like, do you have a car? Do you have kids? Yada yada yada. And she asked me all these like invasive questions, giving me all these scenarios and whatnot. And I ended up not getting the job, but I don't think I got the job because I wasn't qualified. I think I got the job because I was too smart. She was asking me a lot of scenario questions, and I can't really get too deep into it right now because I'm kind of occupied making some moolah. But yeah, she did ask me some like invasive, like not too invasive, but just like, oh, what would you do in this type of scenario? What would you do in this type of scenario? Da da da. And me, I'm smart, I'm quick-winded. So you are no, I'm just, oh, okay, da da da. But I'm still trying to get the job at the end of the day. So I don't mind answering the questions, and it wasn't like invasive like my personal life, but she was definitely asking these questions to see what type of mindset you had. And then also, it was weekly pay and it was immediately hiring. And they could tell from those just two demographics right there that you might be a little desperate for cash. And I was desperate for cash at the moment. You know what I'm saying? I'm 21, I don't scam or nothing. I get legit W-2s.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so let me ask y'all this. Do you think that could be a giveaway too? Like when you go for an interview, could the questions that the person you're interviewing with, could that be an alarm as to there's something fishy going on? Could that be a warning sign? How many of us actually think of listening to the questions that we're being asked and then say, okay, because like she said, she's in a position where you wanted the job, but Rose says yes. Listening to the questions that the interviewer that you're interviewing with asks you could be a warning sign. So she said, pay attention from that aspect, like even the questions that they're asking. Jenny says, I'd suggest that maybe you take someone with you and give your location to others as well. Carlos says, I agree. RV Zumi says, body language. Great things, people. Great things to pay attention to. Jess Ann says, yes, and body language. Facts. I like this. RV Zumi says, if they look like they want to hurry, should be a giveaway. A lot of you brought up some interesting points. And in some cases, that happens. In fact, we're going to hear somebody, a young lady, talk about that. We're going to hear some of the things that you guys just said. This young lady, not this one, but the one that I told you have an accent, she implemented a lot of the things you said.
I'm not gonna lie, if you know,
Hold on. My bad. Let me change that back.
there's been weird shit going on.
Hold on. Let me change my playback because I got her sounding crazy. Hold on. Playback speed, normal. All right, let's go.
And indeed, like this is not like the first time, like shit is
The
going
eye
on.
stare, they
But
have that look. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, when
Or
I
evil
be
intent.
applying to
Right.
jobs, like
Right,
I dead
RV
stop
Zoomer.
using Indeed because when I apply to jobs, there's been like a couple jobs that I will apply to, and sometimes normally when I apply to jobs, I like to look up the location and the area and stuff like that and actually try to see if I see the building. But there was this one time that I applied to a job. I forgot what job it was, but like the day of, I guess, I forgot to look up the address or whatever before that, doing my research or whatever. I looked up the address and like the address wasn't like matching what like the name of the company was. It was like something like that, but it was like some weird suspect shit. Like it was not adding up.
RV Zoomy, you
So I was
brought
like,
up
you know
that,
what?
right?
I'm not.
You brought up
Watch
that,
100.
right? About the address, right? Using the maps. Was that RV Zoomy? I think it was.
It was like a far place that I never been to. So I was not about to go and then I get there and somebody kidnap me. Like I was not doing it.
We love TikTok
But if you
shop.
know
you know to be careful on Indeed. Like this been like niggas been talking about shit like
We
this
love
on
TikTok Shop.
about Indeed for mad long. Like this is not the first time that I'm hearing not probably, but somebody got kidnapped from Indeed applying to a
TikTok
job
Shop.
on Indeed. Like if you know, do your research before trying to go to these interviews, cause yeah.
Indeed, but it turned out to be a very
Okay. So now, remember, I told you all, you have to listen more carefully because she has an accent, okay? And like I said a few minutes ago, a lot of the things that you all were saying that you would look for or that we should look for when we go for an interview as to being signs that something's not right, she takes your word or your advice.
sinister situation. Luckily though, I did make my mum come with me, so she was waiting outside. I was nervous, it was my first interview. So basically I applied for this job, I just dropped out of college, had a kid, fella was working, needed something that fit around the both him and my child. Found this job on Indeed, a couple of hours a day, all in nursery time, cleaning offices. And I was like, yeah, facts, I'll have that. So I emailed at like 10 o'clock at night through Indeed, I applied for it. I got an instant response through Indeed, asking for my personal email because the guy wanted to send over some, I don't know, the location and whatever, and couldn't for some reason do it through Indeed. So I sent over my personal email. I got another response immediately. Can you come to this at this time? I was like, yeah. So the next day, obviously, I turns up at this property where he told me to go to. Gets there, it's a 3-bed semi-detached house, and I was like, yeah. Obviously, no curtains up or anything. It wasn't lived in. It was just an empty building. So I emailed the guy, I'm like, I think I'm in the wrong place. I'm not quite sure if I've turned up to the right place or what. He's like, no, you have. I'll be there in a minute.
Jenny.
So
if it sounds too
up
good
pulls
to be
this
true,
white transit
then
van.
maybe
He backs it up into the driveway. So the back doors of the van are facing the window and the door. Didn't think anything of it. That should have rang immediate alarm bell. Out jumps this unkept, untidy guy. Work clothes, steel toe cap boot. But he has a valid explanation for this. So he says, I've got a construction firm, I need office space, and I have this empty house. I might as well use it. I'm going to convert it into office space, and this is where you'll be cleaning. So he opens the door, and it's just this empty house. Again, I sort of fell for that little tale he gave me. But he sold it. He was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, X, Y, Z. This is your job, this is your role. And then he says, have a look upstairs if you want, just to get a feel of the place, he said. So, but he was insistent that I go first, and he was behind me, followed behind. Again, I was 19, didn't think out of it. I was like, yeah, no problem. So directly in front of me is a toilet. To the right of that is a bathroom. To the right and behind me, a 3-bedroom. He goes on to explain toilet, bathroom, you know, basic stuff. So I get to the top step, and I had a bad feeling immediately.
True. RV Zoom says they don't have a suite. That's my flag. That's my flag too, because it's supposed to be big money. And then Jenny says, nah, that sounds too sus. Okay, we'll pause right while we got it paused. Let's talk about a couple of things that she probably did wrong. When he told her to go upstairs and she would go first, you know, told her to go up first, he'd be behind her. Don't turn your back. Don't turn your back on a person like that. You don't know. You know, he could have easily knocked her over the head or something. RV Zumi says she walked to the van. Just saying says, I go to people's houses to make a bid on what it would cost for me to clean. Okay. Now, the thing about that is, you don't go by yourself though, right? Just saying.
Just had this awful, dreadful feeling. I opened one of the bedroom doors, and what greeted me was...
From going forward from now on, whenever it's possible, please take somebody with you. Please take somebody with you. All right? I get it. Yeah, she said it's my business, and I'm the only employee. Okay, I get that, and I'm cool with that. Like, I get what you're going on that. But if possible, can you have, like, I don't know, like your husband or just somebody go with you? I'm going to tell you, and she's going to explain. Luckily, I'll tell you. I'll let her finish, but please, bestie, I love you. Please, be careful.
Frightening. So I looked into the room, and there's a dirty double mattress on the floor. It looked like it had been dragged through hell and back. And a curtain.
Okay, stop. We're going to stop again. Hey, Marie, you with me for the long haul? Are you good, bestie? Let's stop for a minute. We're going to recap. The job listing was for cleanup, right? And when he okay, no, you fine. I was just saying, I was gonna because I know I'm taking a lot of time on these stories, and still got two more to go. But if you could, I mean, if you with us the whole time, you rocking the whole time, then good. But if you needed to do it and get out, then I would bring you up early. She was supposed to clean the property, and then he told her when she got there, yeah, I own my own construction company, and I have an empty house, and I'm going to turn it, I need more space, so I'm going to turn it into like an office thing. Okay, all right, cool, okay. And so when he tells her to go upstairs, and she gets upstairs, and she looks in one of the bedrooms, there's a dirty mattress on the floor. Okay? All of this seems like something I've seen on the ID. All right? But, okay, let's get back into it.
Nailed to the window. So I knew immediately, something was wrong. I thought, things started to sort of piece together in backing the van up, the way he looked, why I'm at a 3-bedroom house for a job interview. So I started backing out of that bedroom immediately. I thought, great, I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here. I had to be smart though, because I thought if he detects something's wrong, I'm probably brown bread. So I backed out of the room, asked him, can I go to the toilet? Whilst I'm in the toilet, I text my mum, something's wrong. Please call my phone. Please knock on the door. Something's wrong. It was just a quick message. So she does. I think, I can't quite remember if she knocked on the door or not, or she phoned me or something, but we created a distraction. He obviously...
Hold on. Deb, you said you fell on your deck? Is everything good? Are you okay? I mean, I see you said I'm hurting pretty bad. Did you break anything? Did you bruise anything? You fracture anything? Have you been to the emergency room? RV Zumi says they jump from abandoned buildings to abandoned buildings. Exact, hard to keep track of them. Jenny says it sounds like something from Michael Myers in his jumpsuit and knife. Exactly, it does. Jessica says sounds like she went to bed a cleaning job just like I would. Oh my gosh, how scary. That's exactly why I told you to listen. That's why, and that's why I said, please don't go by yourself anymore. Can you promise us you won't do it no more by yourself? Like, just don't. Jessica says, guess I won't be doing any bids anytime soon. Yeah, that's why I was saying that, bestie. That's why I was saying that. RV Zumi says they need to make an app to see who owns a house so things like this can be prevented. Yeah, I do agree. I do agree with you on that. That would help out tremendously.
Obviously shit himself as soon as my phone rang, and as soon as like whatever happened. I can't quite remember. I remember him shitting himself. He backed right off. I walked down them stairs. I didn't say anything at all to him. I didn't even grab his attention. I come straight out the stairs, straight down the stairs, exited that property and called the police. I called the police straight away. And because no crime had actually happened, they didn't give a flying fuck. But
keep us posted, Deb, on what the doctor tells you tomorrow when you go, okay? And for the meantime, try to stay off of it. Try to stay off of it, okay? Ice it if it's swollen, stuff like that, okay? Listen. Now, what she did was smart. She brought her mother to the interview with her, and her mother waited out in the car. And she used good sense when she found herself in a compromising situation while they was upstairs, and she saw the dirty mattress on the floor, and she saw the curtain had been nailed to the bedroom window. Nailed to cover the bedroom window. She said she had to go to the restroom. She had to use the restroom. And her quick thinking probably saved her life, because in the bathroom, she sent a text out to her mother to call or come knock on the door. You see what I'm saying? And then when her mom called her, that startled this man who was allegedly interviewing her for the job. So, thankful for
that for me, potentially dangerous. Had I not have brought my mum with me in that day, had I not have been nervous, I probably would have been a victim of a very serious crime, or crimes, plural. But that was all through a legitimate job website. So that put me off for a long time applying for jobs through websites or sites. And I just did it in person. I was handing CVs out for a while after that. But it's a big reminder to me to be very, very cautious, very careful. You can't trust anyone. I'm going to do this dead quick. So when I was 19, I applied for a job through Indeed, but it turned out to be a very sinister situation. Luckily,
So we just ain't talking about the 17 people that came up missing in Atlanta and they all applied to this one job. You know what? Y'all, we got to get back to the old days. We got to take it back. We got to actually get on our feet, take our resumes to these facilities, these franchises, these businesses, or whatever it is, and apply in person. It's so crazy that Indeed, there's no accountability on their end. I don't hear this on the news. It's like, what they doing with these people? And first thing that came to my mind was I can't really say that on here, but, they was, taking certain things out of people's
Organ harvest.
Yeah, and it's so unfortunate because these people just woke up one day, applied to a job, said, okay, I'm going to this job interview, and they ain't make it back home. It's so sad. And it's all over Facebook, and ain't nobody being held accountable on Indeed. And how's your kids, how's your wife? They out here, they trying to get us. It's so sad. My prayers go out to them families.
Okay, so that's the end of segment 1. Charlie Springles, peace, God. How you doing? Welcome to the live. Jenny says we got to use critical thinking at all times. At all times, bestie. At all times. There's no...
Filing your tax return is different.
There's no time where you can take off when it comes to something like that. Now, again, these 17 people have not, I repeat, have not been found. Charlie says, I'm doing wonderful, magnificent, and great. Hope you're doing the same. Peace and blessings. Yes, I am. Yes, I am, sir. I appreciate that, my brother. I am. Feeling good, too, RV Zumi says, it's terrible they're not bringing this to attention. No, they're not. They're not bringing it to the attention. And what that does and what that causes, RV Zumi, is other people to fall in the same trap. Now, they said, RV Zumi says, now, what do the job listing look like? They're not even saying that because they don't know what job these people applied for. You see what I'm saying? And so, and like I said, they take it down after they get what they want, Charlie says, if they brought it to the attention, what could we do about it anyway? Well, the thing about it is, if anything, people probably avoid applying on Indeed. But, yeah, I mean, that is true, too, to a degree, because when you're in a situation to where your bills are mounting up on you and you don't know how you're going to put food on the table and take care of your kids, or pay child care services and all of this, people are still going to go for it. And unfortunately, that's the sad thing about this, is because people are trying to get income innocently instead of going out here doing crazy stuff. And it's costing them their lives. Marie says they are doing so many different things now besides Indeed, and I will share. Yeah. I wanted to get this out and try to get this show done within under an hour, so I could post it here on this platform. But I don't think we're going to be able to do that because the first segment took almost 40 minutes. But at the same time, I'm not worried about it. I'm not concerned with it. I'm more concerned with the safety of my people here, my family here. So I'll get it out. Now, since I can't post it, or if I can't post it on here, you all are more than welcome to go follow my YouTube channel, G Smooth 404, and I'll post shows on there in its entirety. Okay, so if you miss it here or you don't see it posted here, but you need to share it, like this one's something I would expect people to share. because we got to get the word out there. Go on, and it takes some time because I got so much stuff saved on my phone, but I have to. But it'll be posted on there. Okay, just keep checking. Just keep checking. Go and follow G Smooth 404 at YouTube. Thank you, Bestie. That right there. Now, also, if you like the content, we can share while we in here now. You can share it out to people. All right, and also subscribe to my channel here, and you'll know when I go live, and we can get the content out that way too. All right, we're going into the second. Marisa, I follow all platforms. That's my girl. I appreciate that. Thank you, Bestie. Thank you so much. Listen, we're going to the second segment now. Let me ask you this, though, before we get started. How many of you grew up in the church or been active at one point in time in a church? I don't care about your religion. I am not talking about that. That's irrelevant. Just church in general. Okay, Jenny says yeah, me. Marie says me. Who else? DJ Zay, what's going on, brother? Nothing much. Just trying to bring some awareness to things. How you doing? RV Zumi says, I went to church Sunday. I did as well. Okay, but you grew up in the church, right? Like, or not necessarily grew up, or you've been, like, at some point in time in life, or even now, you go pretty consistently, right? On a consistent basis. Okay. DJ Zay says, nothing, just chilling, putting music on TikTok. I know, and keep up the good work. Man, the memories you be bringing back, the times and place that you take me, I love it. Just saying says me. Okay. RV Zumi says, I was a little kid in the South going to church. Okay, so you and I were the same. Okay, so now, vast majority of us on here have been talking with JoJo. Welcome in, bestie. You missed the first segment, but we're about to start the second. You in time. How many of you, thank you for that heart, me bestie. I appreciate it. Great live last night, by the way. How many of you all know that in the church, people can be just as wicked or even more wicked? There could be more chaos in church than outside of church. How many of y'all heard that? Okay. Jenny says she has. Okay. Listen. Dev says she has. Now, on the backside of that, when we have these pastors that are singers or well-known singers amongst the gospel genre of mainstream music, and because I know I'm guilty of this too, I have been. How many of us put those people on not necessarily a pedestal, but you think they're just great people? Like, I don't. For instance, when I'm speaking about this people, I'm talking about people that. Okay, okay. I'm already laughing before I said. Okay. I'm talking about on the level of. There was this pastor that was known to be great, man. He was a great man. He was a great man. He had awesome services, but he turned out to be a power bottom in places with people he shouldn't be affiliated with. Put a 1 if you know who I'm talking about. Power bottom should have gave it away. Jenny know who I'm talking about. Okay. So I'm talking about to that magnitude. Now, we're going to say this for the integrity of the live.
All things said in this portion of the live is alleged.
Yes, Jenny. Yeah, TD Cakes. Exactly who we're talking about. TD Cakes. That's who I was talking about. Okay. Well, this man right here that I'm going to speak about, this pastor right here. Well, this past few weeks, he's actually gotten a lot of heat from locking. Okay, he didn't say lock. Let's say the words that he said: close the doors, and telling people that they had to basically give a certain amount of money. Okay, you know what I'm talking about? Oh, Bestie, thank you for that blow bubbles. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes, there's a pastor. He's also a singer. He's a famous singer too in the gospel realm of the music industry. But here lately, like within the past few weeks, he was at a conference or convention, and he told them to close the doors, and nobody was leaving till they gave a certain amount of money, and told the people that was on stage with him that, hey, they had to give more. I think the people in the audience and people at home, he was asking for $20 each from them. And the people that was on stage, I think the other ministers or pastors on the stage with him, I think he asked them told him to give 100 or something like that. 10K a piece. Yeah, Jenny says, give me 10K a piece. Right. Okay. So that was bad. But this is even worse. Arvizumi says, singing in God's house, asking for money. Yeah. Demanding, holding people hostage, basically. We love TikTok Shop. What if I told you that may not be the most sinister thing that he done? I get it. Don't look at me like that. I see y'all like, Mr. Breaking News. What you mean that when that's bad enough? Possibly it could be worse. Let's dive in.
She seemed as if she was looking around, as if someone could be following her.
When I found out she went to Michigan, you gotta ask yourself, why did she go to Michigan?
There was a lot of pandemonium. Yeah, and you threatened to close the doors in Baltimore, at a church in Baltimore.
He said they were shooting outside, said close the door to make people safe.
Oh, no.
No, he didn't say
In biblical days, they offered livestock, grain. That was a type of currency. Note, if you will, I did not say money. I said currency.
What if the gospel world isn't as holy as it seems? What if one of the most celebrated voices in modern gospel, Marvin Sapp, is hiding something dark? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most chilling, mysterious, and highly speculated cases in the gospel industry.
Great news, Spectrum Internet customers. Now you can try Spectrum
Tragic disappearance and death of Dr. Taleka Patrick and her eerie connection to Pastor Marvin Sapp. And now, explosive whispers that Hezekiah Walker may be pulling back the curtain on what really went down. Y'all, the streets are talking. Could it be a tragic case of obsession gone too far? Or was Taleka silenced after uncovering something she was never meant to see? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see how all the pieces, every odd detail, every hush-hush conversation might just connect.
Zoo County Sheriff says the body they recovered earlier this week in Indiana is that of missing Michigan Dr. Taleka Patrick.
Very well be.
7 investigator Heather Catallo has been following this story that has made headlines around the world, Heather. This is so sad for Dr. Patrick's family.
Lisa Lee, thank you for that heartbeat. I appreciate that.
Taleka Patrick drowned.
Good morning to you.
There were no signs of trauma on her body, and their investigation has revealed that she was very troubled, but hiding it well from the world.
So, Doctor, Taleka Patrick was a brilliant, driven, and on her way to becoming one of the top psychiatrists in the country. A 30-year-old medical resident working at Kalamazoo's Borgess Medical Center. Taleka had a promising career ahead of her and a clean record. But underneath that perfect resume was a woman quietly unraveling, and her unraveling seemed to orbit around Marvin Sapp. Now, here's where it starts getting weird.
Y'all ready? She said this is where it started getting weird. Are we ready? Brittany Amber, good morning, bestie. Welcome to hashtag I'm Gonna Say It. How are you doing, love?
Angelica had allegedly been sending letters, tweets, and even videos to Marvin Sapp. And yes, romantic videos, not just the simple, usual gardening videos. She called him her spiritual husband. And while some dismissed her as a stalker or mentally unstable, others started asking deeper questions. Like, how did she even become so fixated on him in the first place? Because according to some whispers, he reached out first. People close to her say she had never even attended his church. So, how'd she end up being blocked from contacting him and slapped with a personal protection order? And if she was truly unstable, why hadn't anyone stepped in sooner to get her help?
Talking with JoJo. Bestie. Don't y'all talk about mental health? Prime candidate right here, and nobody reached out to help. Nobody reached out to help her.
Her disappearance wasn't just a mystery.
That's
it
why
was
I thank y'all
ominous.
for what y'all do.
She vanished in December
be the light.
2013. Her car was later found abandoned with her wallet still inside. And months later, her body was pulled from a lake in Indiana. The official cause? Drowning.
Details in the case of a missing young Michigan doctor who vanished nearly 3 weeks ago. Does just released video, though, hold the answer to her whereabouts? ABC's John Mueller has the latest.
You're looking at newly discovered surveillance images of Dr. Talika Patrick inside the Radisson Hotel in Kalamazoo, Michigan from December 6th, the night she mysteriously vanished. The 30-year-old doctor is at the desk clerk, trying to book a room with cash and appears to be in a rush. After being turned away, Patrick uses the hotel shuttle to take her to her car.
Hold on, y'all. I want to look up something. I want to see, because I know that his home church is in Michigan, but I'm not sure if that's where it's at. Hold on. Okay, no, it says Fort Worth, Texas. Okay. Trying to figure out what was she doing up there in Miami. Okay, I mean Michigan. Okay, let's go.
Located at the Borges Hospital, where she worked in downtown Kalamazoo. 2 hours later, her car is found abandoned in a ditch off I-94, more than 100 miles away from the hospital in Kalamazoo, with her wallet still inside.
But those closest to the case never bought the accidental drowning story. And as we'll see later, neither did Hezekiah Walker, because some people believed Talika knew too much. And the people she allegedly tried to warn, well, they might have looked the other way. And let's get into the $40,000 question. But this isn't your typical church donation story. We're talking about $40,000 that Marvin Sapp demanded from his own church members. This wasn't just a normal collection plate situation. Marvin apparently put serious pressure on his congregation. And it's left a lot of people asking if this was just a weird coincidence or a cover-up of something much darker. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. Marvin didn't just ask for donations like a regular fundraiser. Nope, he forced his church members to contribute at least $100 each.
Through Rula.
Hold on, we got a commercial. But, why is that important? What makes that important? Well, remember we was telling you all about the incident that happened at the convention, right? Hey, Grand Rising Larry, how you doing, brother? Yeah, asking people to, give up your money. Exactly. No, talking with JoJo, this is pastor, can I say pastor? I don't know if I can say pastor, but it's Marvin Sapp. He's a pastor of a church and a famous gospel singer. But the past couple of weeks, he got in trouble he's been taking heat about keeping people kind of closed the doors at a convention and made them give money. Hashtag Truth Podcast. Hey, buddy. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, great show last night. Those of you who don't know, the Global Impact Wrestling, CAW on YouTube, that's the promoter. He's the one that put the shows together. It was an awesome show last night. Thank you. Me and my little brother went over and won the cage match. So we'll be getting tag team title shots. He does awesome content. Very creative. I love it. I love it. Yes, it was a great show. It really was. But the reason why this is important, because we only heard about what happened at the convention a couple of weeks ago. This hasn't been brought to light. This hasn't even been brought to light or talked about. Man, it's a lot of things that haven't been talked about that we're talking about here on hashtag I'm gonna say it, right?
Allowed to leave until the full $40,000 was raised.
Close the doors for me for a quick moment. I want everybody to remain standing quickly. How many of y'all really received something from the word of the Lord tonight? Listen, when you study scripture, you will notice that whenever God did something in the lives of the patriarchs of old, the patriarchs would pause.
To make him apologizing not sit well with y'all either, in my opinion. Now let's take a listen to him on the Ricky Smiley morning show explaining what happened in the apology.
Okay, so he did Ricky Smiley. Shout out to Ricky Smiley. He does morning radio here in Atlanta as well. And he had him on there after the incident happened at the conference, right? Or convention or whatnot. And he had him on there and let him explain his side of the story. So this is the portion of the segment we're at now. He's about to talk to him about what happened.
People took issue with me saying, shut the doors. Understand, I never said lock the doors. Yeah. Shutting doors means people still have the ability to go in and out. And I can honestly say, looking at the video, maybe I was a little more...
RV Zumi says, bro, trying to cult it. He's trying to see what he can get away with because $40,000 is insane. It's really insane. It really is insane, RV Zumi. And to even put the spin on, well, I just said close the door. I didn't say lock it. Hold on, I'm tripping. Hold on.
I didn't say lock the door. I just said close the door.
That's still spooky. It's still I don't care how you spin it. It's still spooky, right? But he's trying to downplay it. And see, one thing I learned in my little 1 year of criminal justice in college, that a lot of times when people try to downplay or minimize a situation, they're not telling the truth. RV Zumi says, it's like what he said about the currency. We don't buy things with rice, bro. Right. Notice I didn't say money. I said currency. It's just, bro, what? Hashtag Truth Podcast says, why does God need money? That's human, not spiritual. Exactly, brother. Because what we do here, what we use to spend here, is not needed over there. And amongst his kingdom, if we are lucky to make it upon his kingdom, we don't have to worry about none of that. It's all taken care of. Jesus paid our debt on the cross.
Assertive that I should have been, and I can apologize for that. But
imagine being stuck inside a church with no way out until you've given up serious cash. This wasn't some optional donation. Marvin was determined to get that money, and it was clear that...
Shut the door, I'm out that place. Yeah, that's definitely not where we need to be conjugating at, right? Like, it's just not. Right, babe? Not luck, but blessed to be. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I'm a Marvin Sapp fan. I was.
About any regular ministry need. So, what did Marvin allegedly do with this $40,000? Well, some say it went into his church's funds, but that's where the story gets even more suspicious. It's believed that part of this money was allegedly used to cover his wife Melinda's medical bills. She was battling colon cancer at the time and tragically passed away in September 2010.
She was a key player in the development of a Grand Rapids Southeast Side church known for her ability to connect with the city's youth. Dr. Melinda Sapp, the wife of gospel music singer Marvin Sapp, died this morning after a lengthy battle with colon cancer.
Of course, paying for her treatment is understandable. No one would question that. But the secrecy surrounding this money, that's the part that raises eyebrows.
1,000 people giving what I'm about to challenge you all to do will be $20,000. Now, for those of us who are on the dais, I'm taking you higher, so put it back.
Right. I love this music too.
I'm a strong believer that leaders lead not only in time, not only in talent, but also in treasure. Leaders lead in time, talent, and treasure.
Some believe the timing of this money could have had more to do with covering up something bigger, like the growing investigation into the mysterious circumstances surrounding Taleka Patrick's disappearance. When you look at the whole picture, Marvin's actions, the pressure on his congregation,
Right, RV Zoom.
and the secretive
Now
nature
give
of
me
the
your money
donation,
and go do this for me.
it's
Exactly.
hard not to wonder if there's more going on
Jimmy
behind
says
the
that's
scenes.
the money prosperity
And who
church.
better
Exactly.
to expose the truth than someone who's been in the know all along, like Hezekiah Walker, who's never been afraid to call out what others try to keep hidden. For those who don't know, Hezekiah Walker is a close acquaintance of Marvin Sapp. So, when rumors started circulating that Walker had insider knowledge about the Taleka Patrick case, things got way more interesting.
We started back in 1985.
There are whispers that Hezekiah Walker has seen things or knows things that could seriously change the narrative about Marvin Sapp's involvement in Taleka's disappearance and death.
Michelle says, I hate when people abuse the gift God gave them by using them for bad. That part, man. Amen.
Some sources suggest that Walker knows about certain details, specifically alleged critical evidence that Marvin Sapp may have intentionally suppressed or withheld from investigators. Now, let's stop and think for a second. If Marvin was truly innocent in this whole thing, why would he want to hide anything? Walker's alleged claims seem to suggest that Marvin might have tried to obstruct the investigation. And why would he do that if he wasn't somehow connected to the events surrounding Taleka's death? What's even more suspicious is that Hezekiah Walker hinted at some discrepancies in Marvin's public statements about Taleka's disappearance.
Let me get to your comments real quick. RV Zumi says, I was with him when he spent his money, but I did not make him pay for our plane ride. Hey, you understand? Like, and again, like I said, we do get to a point, or there are times where we hold pastors on a different, I don't want to say idolize them, but some people do get to that point, is what I'm saying. And to know that this kind of thing happened, and again, it's all alleged. However, it's not a good look for any pastor, not just Mr. Sapp. It's not a good look for any pastor to, one, catch heat or have heat because you done told people at a conference that they got to give a certain amount. And whether you said close the doors or lock the doors doesn't matter. That's not a good look. But it's definitely not a good look when the pastor is possibly tied to the unaliving of a woman that the media doesn't talk about. You're going to see what we're doing today.
Walker's comments made it seem like there were inconsistencies in the story that Marvin had been telling the media. These inconsistencies, they pointed to a man who might be trying to cover his tracks, trying to hide something more sinister than he was letting on. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, but what does the church have to do with all of this?
Michelle says, we all sin and fall short, but we have to repent for the wrongdoing and mean it. Exactly, that part. Got to. That's the only way it works.
Let me tell you, this is where things take a wild turn. Marvin Sapp's church, which has been an integral part of his career and his public persona, might not be as innocent as it seems. Could it be that his church played a role in managing the narrative around Talika Patrick's disappearance and death? Some people believe that Marvin's church had a hand in concealing the truth, and it's all tied to Marvin's reputation.
I love how every single side hustle expert.
Sorry, it's commercial. Jenny says, sounds like a Catch and Unaliving he did with the media. And we've heard about that going on a lot, right? Over the things that we've covered, right? Commercial.
That Marvin allegedly used church funds for personal expenses, including his wife's treatment. Now, what if he also used his church's influence to downplay or misdirect the media's attention away from certain details in the case? The idea that Marvin's church could have been used as a shield to protect his image and possibly protect him from any legal trouble has been speculated by some insiders who know how tight-knit church communities can be.
Understand that David is saying that
Hashtag Truth says, going against everything the good book teaches. Amen. Everything. I'm talking about everything. Amen to that.
The reason why I'm grateful to God is because he could have exposed. I can't get no help here. He could have exposed me, but he loved me so much that he wanted to keep my influence intact. And see, that's the reason why you can still testify.
Michelle says, as Pastor Mitchell, that's our pastor, we love him. Our pastor says, I think Sapp needs to go into his quiet room and wring out his heart. Facts, I agree. Niece, welcome in, welcome in. How you doing this morning?
That's the reason why you can still witness to people, because if they knew your real story, if they knew all the stuff that you really had to come through, you might not be able to talk to nobody about nothing.
The question here is, how far would Marvin go to protect his career and his reputation? Could he have leveraged his church's power to influence how the case was being portrayed to the public? If Marvin truly had something to hide, the church could have been a useful tool in controlling the narrative, even if it meant manipulating public perception. This church cover-up angle is another piece of the puzzle that has yet to be fully explored. Before we dive even deeper into the drama surrounding Talika Patrick's case, let's take a quick detour and talk about Marvin Sapp's past, particularly his teenage years. Now, this isn't something Marvin talks about too often, but it's definitely worth mentioning for context.
Pause. I haven't seen this, so we watching it together in real time. But the way she just gave that introduction to this segue, it don't sound good. I'm not trying to judge. I'm just saying the way she put it, it don't sound like it's going to turn out good or in his favor.
When Marvin was just a teenager, life hit him hard. His parents' divorce left him reeling, and like many young people in tough situations, he turned to unhealthy coping mechanisms.
Thank you for that heart, me cuz.
Marvin
How you
himself
doing?
has admitted
Did you
that
get that
during
address?
this time, he was wilding out, turning to substances, alcohol,
Yeah,
and
Jenny
partying
said,
to
hey,
numb
it
the
sounds
pain
like it's
of his
about to be
broken family.
terrible.
In
Yes.
interviews, he's openly confessed that he smoked, popped pills, and drank heavily.
We love
a
TikTok
lot,
Shop.
just to get through the rough patch. He even said that he was in a dark place mentally and emotionally, struggling to find his way.
Well, I started smoking marijuana at the age of 12.
We
Started
love TikTok
drinking the
Shop.
proper pills at 16. I snorted my first line of in the basement with my boss at 18. And I was in church every Sunday. And what's so amazing is what changed my life is my cousin got killed. And when
We
he
love
lost
TikTok
his
Shop.
life, you know, and it just
Okay,
really just said,
go get
Marvin,
it.
that's
You
not
better
the type
get
of
it.
lifestyle that you want to live. And, you know, again, my mother and father got divorced, and I was just being very, very rebellious. And
RV Zumi says we can't talk about it, but they can sell it. Yeah. Boy, look at him. Look at him.
and just got caught up and got caught out. But
But here's the twist. Could this troubled history have shaped some of Marvin's later behavior? The same man who was once trying to escape his pain through substances is now dealing with massive scandals, a questionable past, and an ongoing battle with his public image. It's almost like those early struggles, his addictions, his internal battles, might have laid the foundation for some of the questionable choices he's made as an adult. It's wild to think that a guy who's publicly seen as a savior and a spiritual guide has this history. And it makes you wonder if his past is something he's tried to bury, not just from the public, but maybe even from himself. And speaking of the past, y'all remember those questionable collabs Marvin did? In 2013, Marvin linked up with none other than Kandi Burruss from The Real Housewives of Atlanta for a gospel track called Stay Praised Up. Now, on the surface, it seems like,
do you own your own home in Georgia, but still rent your electricity for
that commercial?
gospel song, right? But hold up, because things got a little messy once people started looking closer. Kandi Burruss, as you probably know, is a reality TV star with a pretty significant following. She also has a line of adult toys, which definitely raised some serious questions when she released a gospel track. You might be thinking, what's the issue with that? Well, some fans of the gospel community weren't here for it. Twitter exploded and critics quickly jumped on Kandi for what they saw as a hypocrisy. How could she be making gospel music while also promoting her adult toy business on the side?
She decided that she wanted to record a gospel song, so she called Pastor Marvin Sapp to come and record with her. They recorded a song called Prayed Up, and people are coming out the gate swinging, saying that basically she needs to stay in her lane, do her sex toys, do her sex show, do this Atlanta show, and leave gospel where it is. And they say, Pastor Marvin.
And here comes Marvin Sapp right into the middle of it all. Fans couldn't help but wonder why he would collaborate with someone who was promoting things many considered to be in direct opposition to gospel values. Some even went as far as to say Marvin was just in it for the fame and money. It didn't sit well with a lot of fans who believed that Marvin's collaboration with Kandi was more about cashing in on her reality TV fame than it was about spreading the gospel message. Marvin, of course, didn't take the criticism lightly. He hit back loud and clear, taking to his Facebook page to defend himself. His response? Well, it was a little odd to say the least. He wrote a typo-filled message claiming there was no compromise on his part and that he didn't condone Kandi's lifestyle or life choices. But here's the kicker. He also said, "You don't know the off-camera conversation we had."
She seemed...
All right. Okay. So, with that being said, one, I want to say that I'm not here to judge. We can't judge. We all sin. There's no one sin isn't greater than the other per se. No, it's not. It's not. And I'm not saying that a man can't change. I'm not saying that. But however, I am saying this. If you want to change, if you definitely are trying to change, there's certain areas or certain people you just can't hang around and expect people to, or just expect that change to come. I won't even say for people, but expect that change to come. On #True Podcast, comment got pinned. It says, "There's nothing wrong with changing your ways, but you can't serve two masters." Yeah. See, and I didn't even know he was saying that. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly, brother. You just can't do it. You can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You know, Michelle says people use money as a god, and idol, and that part is wrong. Yes, baby, it's so wrong. It's so wrong. I love you, baby. You're so wrong. That is so wrong to do that because, prime example. We talk about Puffy Jacket all the time. And what does he have? Money, fame, fortune. If this doesn't prove the statement that money is the root of all evil, then I don't know what does. It says that God wants us to have money. He doesn't want us to idolize it. Exactly. If we shouldn't idol anybody or anything but God. Period. He didn't say in his book, well, on Mondays and Tuesdays, it's okay to idolize this person, and then you can get back to me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He didn't say that. It didn't say that. It just said him. And one thing that our pastor has taught us, that we have a jealous God. Not jealous in a bad way, but jealous because he made us. How do we not give him praise and glory and honor him and him only in that way? You understand? So, now, there's also a theme that I'm going with today's show. I don't know if you all have caught it yet. Hold on, I got one. The last segment, Marie. This is the last segment, bestie. All right. Okay. So, past week and a half, we've done a couple of shows about this young man out of Frisco, Texas, by the name of Carmelo Anthony. First and foremost, thank God that brother got bonded out last night. It was at $1 million, but then the judge reduced it to $250,000. I clap because he's out. But don't let that confuse you, because he should have never been in there to begin with. Right? We've covered that. The young man was defending himself and shouldn't have been locked up. Okay? So, but you can hear about that story anywhere. I mean, anywhere. Oh, have y'all heard about the guy? Hey, put a 1 in the live if you heard about Nikita Casa, or put a 2 if you haven't. I'll wait. Jenny says we have to keep his name in the FYP so he can get justice. Exactly. Exactly. Marie says, no, I hadn't heard of him. Nee said, no, I hadn't heard of him. My baby says, no, I ain't heard of him. Jenny says, no, I hadn't heard of him. Hashtag True Podcast said, no, I haven't heard. My cousin said, no, I haven't heard that name. I don't know what you're talking about. You see how the media plays around? You see how the media only puts out what they want to put out to create a narrative? I'm about to introduce this man to y'all. And the reason I'm about to do this, the whole theme of today is how the media don't put out things it should put out. And this is another incident of that happening, because they exploit Carmelo Anthony case all day, every day, twice on Sundays. But yet this young YT man unalives both parents, takes money to fund for an unaliving of our pretender in chief. I know, but but we can't. That's not the point, right? You know, that's not the point, right? I know. But you know, he keeps that rhetoric. Should you face the music to it? But no. But what I'm saying is, they're not talking about this. They're not giving it the press, the coverage, the pub that they give to Carmelo Anthony, and try to paint Carmelo Anthony in a bad or negative way. They're not even telling us the full story. I'm currently warring with people on my Facebook in a certain feed because they think it's wrong that he even got bail. But they see nothing wrong with Kyle Rittenhouse driving across state lines hours away to unalive 2 people with an AR. They don't see nothing wrong with that. Okay? Let's dive in.
Bruh.
Shout out to the amazing Lucas for his content.
Oh my goodness.
So I want to start off by saying I'm not making it racial. I'm just making an observation, okay? And upon that observation, I would argue that if I were to give you two names, Carmelo Anthony and Nikita Kassip, that the vast majority of y'all would know who Carmelo Anthony is and not know who in the world Nikita Kassip was. And I just find that interesting, okay? For me, I just find that absolutely mind-blowing, just fascinating, okay? Because Carmelo Anthony had a $1 million bail, and Nikita Kassip had a $1 million bail. Now, we all know what happened with Carmelo Anthony, him claiming self-defense. Regardless if you believe him or not, that's his story. When we have Nikita Kassip, well, let's just say it's not self-defense. let's just go and say that, all right? Carmelo Anthony is black. Nikita Kassip, that's correct. You guessed it, white. Now, Nikita Kassip, he came from a broken household. He was an orphan. He had to fight every day. He then, went to school, and none of that is true. None of that is true. This man, this boy, he came from a loving two-parent household. All right. And the reason why I say that is because you know how much they want to talk about, well, it's a single-parent household with the black people. It's a single-parent house. As I've said before, as I've said ad nauseum, that the stark contrast is if that's what they want to say, the vast majority of the criminals that happen to be white males come from a loving two-parent household, that come from a middle or upper-class upbringing. Just so we're clear, okay? These aren't impoverished white kids going up and...
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Hashtag True Podcast, yeah. Yeah, that was definitely said just to... It was a satire, if anything, right? It's strictly about, well, not directly about race, but it's about the injustice of race that race plays, right? Like, you have one young kid that's BLK who was being bullied and had been assaulted days prior to the incident, and when the same people who assaulted him came to assault him again, he was ready for them. So it's not right, talking with JoJo, right. I like that. She said, I like that. The injustice of race. Yes, that's the best way I can put it, because it's not a racial thing, because we are not trying, please, people, if you can hear me, and please share it, we are not trying to divide any race. We are solely geared towards uniting, period. However, we cannot do that when we have journalism and media outlets who choose to put out false narratives. We can't. And so, because they do it for money, they do it because their allegiance to the elite, it falls on us as common people. And common folks, we're down below everybody else that's in the elites and wealthy and all of that, right? Common folks, we're down below. But let me tell you something. What's down below, though? When you build a house, what's down below? When you build anything, what's down below? It's the foundation. And if your foundation isn't solid, nothing you build will sustain anything. Okay? So that's what this is about. Yeah, he said it's not about race. And it's not in the manner of division, but more so on how there's, and we've said this before, I've said it before, more so how there's justice and then there's just us for different colored people, right? That's what's it. Hashtag podcast.
And, shooting up the schools, that's not what's happening, all right? These aren't impoverished white kids going up and chopping off heads, and that's not what's happening. So I just want to be clear that when it comes to black youth, we can go down the list when it comes to the school-to-prison pipeline. We can go...
Attention car accident victims. The insurance companies hope you...
That's commercial. Hold on 1 second.
Education, when it comes to
income disparity. We can go through healthcare disparity. We can go a litany of things and explain, okay, this is why that may have been a factor here and there. That's not the same for little Timmy. Okay, that's not the same for little Nikita. Now, Nikita,
That's right, Zumi.
I'm just going to tell you what Nikita did. Nikita happened to Thanos snap both of his parents. That's correct. He happened to Thanos snap both of his parents. And the reason why is because he thought that would help him with his financial endeavor. And what he was trying to do was buy a drone and buy explosives. All right? That's what this little domestic terrorist was trying to do. This little white ignorant was trying to do. And the reason being is because he also had a manifesto. And in this manifesto, he was pro-Hitler. All right? Very pro-Hitler, white supremacist, white nationalist. And he wanted to do this to save the white race from, his words, Jewish politicians.
We love TikTok Shop.
Now, I don't know what to... Did I not have a video talking about this? Did I not have a live stream talking about how there's this youth, this undereducated youth who is being exploited? That's why when you have people, whether it's Nick Fuentes, whether it's, Steven Crowder, whether it's any of these other individuals who are promoting this drivel, whether, these I would say, these bad actors who are promoting this filth to the white youth, whether it's Charlie Kirk, okay, talking about DEI, I don't want to get on the plane because it's a black pilot. Listen, these white youth, these white ignorants are extremely impressionable. And it doesn't take very much to go down this rabbit hole, and then they lose all hope, okay? They become doomers. They thinking, oh, I'm not going to...
Hold on, let me pause that. Let me read some comments. Hashtag Truth Podcast says, why do crazy people who do bad things love to write about it? Good question. Fascinating question. I don't know what the fascination of or fantasizing about. I don't know what it is. RV Zumi and the judge is a Mason. I mean, RV Zumi. Who said it? Jenny said at RV Zumi. And the judge is a Mason and on their payroll. RV Zumi says to Jenny, that's a problem in itself. I agree. Now, people, again, because I don't want us to get lost on the message. Hold on. Marie says because they are fascinated with doing it. True. Believe it or not, and that is a, what's the word that I'm looking for when you have, it's a fetish. That is a fetish to some people. That is a fetish. Unfortunately, it's crazy, but that is a fetish. And again, I don't want the message that we're conveying right now to get lost on any of you. I'm not saying, and to your point, RV Zumi, black people, BLK people is racist to white people, and white people have a history of being racist to BLK people. We can't change that, people. That's just facts. But what he's saying is you have a young man that defended himself against two brothers who had already previously picked on him. And he's been dragged through the mud on the media. They've said, well, his parents, he grew up in a single parent household. His parents have been married for 17 years. But you see that narrative they painted? Now, like I said yesterday, we saw an LEO unalive George Floyd in real time. And what did the media do? They went all the way back to what George Floyd did in high school and in middle school and how bad that was. Do you see the point we're getting at? But yet, this guy, Nikita Kassup, had planned on unaliving the president. And that's not media worthy? That's what we're getting at. You can't keep moving the goalpost. If we playing football, we need the goalposts to stay where they at. If we playing soccer, then you put the other goals up. You see what I'm saying? That's what we're getting at. That's what we're getting at. And he said to justify in what they did. Right, like don't do that. We can't have that. You know what I mean? RV Zumi says, like lack of love, the president is 4 years, he can't run again. Yeah. Like or love. Yeah, I got it. Okay, for 4 years he can't. Yeah. But now understand too. Understand, this isn't a BLK kid or person trying to unlie the president. This is a YT. But the media is shh. How is that? But a young BLK boy protecting himself. Now, oh, that's a problem. We can't do that. It's all right. RV Zuma said, I type fast sometimes. It's okay. Hey, it's okay. It's okay.
Get a white girl because, you know, the Jewish propaganda is telling them to get with black and brown people. Oh, and then the schools, I'm going to be discriminated against. And they build up, it's like the meme, they build up this fortress of fear of things that haven't happened and will never happen. And
why is filing your taxes with
another commercial
in this constant fear? Roland Martin wrote a great book about it, White Fear. And because they are in such a state of fear, they lash out. They lose their minds. And unfortunately, these youth are going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Because once they start looking at, as far as the mental health situation, how they're skyrocketed per capita, when you start looking at the demographics, how it's declining, the birth rates for them per capita, astronomical numbers, and everything starts to add up. And they can't help but get into this fight or flight scenario. Their body gets crippled by fear. So then you have people like this, as we saw before in Buffalo, 2 white boys. This is what happens to them, and they get radicalized. And now we have a whole bunch of domestic terrorists. Hence why the FBI said that, hey, these white supremacist groups are some of the most dangerous, because they are radicalizing the poor white youth into thinking that they're victims. This narrative that the Republican Party, the right, is promoting and indoctrinating these white kids is a mindset of victimhood. That, hey, woe is me. There's nothing I can do because of my Jews. That's the mindset that they have. And they're like, well, it's the Jews that are controlling the blacks, that are making them hate us because they hate us because we're white. That's why, because we're better than them. I'm telling you, it's a severely twisted mindset that he got, bro. And it's sad because a lot of them are, you know, as I've said before, they all have some type of deformity about them, whether it's mentally or physically. And it's unfortunate because they lose all hope and they go down this rabbit hole, and this is what happens. And then they get into the, you know, the Nazi and everything. They get into Nazi explaining, and Hitler wasn't that bad.
We love TikTok
well,
shop.
how many Jews actually did happen in the Holocaust? All this goofy stuff, bro. All this goofy stuff. That if they simply just worked out, weren't weirdos, and had a social life, all that would disappear. All that would disappear. As I've said before, black men, you are responsible, okay? You are responsible for the decline of this country. We are responsible for people like Nikita. You have got to adopt an incel. That is your job in this country. Every black man out there, you have got to adopt an incel, all right? An incel a day keeps the domestic terrorists away. That's how that works, bruh.
He's out of line,
I'm not,
but he's right.
Because if they were busy.
Listen, people. I'm not saying everything he's saying. I mean, it's harsh. It's harsh. And we may not agree with it, but he's covering some points that need to be addressed in order for us to move on. You know? Yeah, he blamed the BLK people for this. He did.
You know, being cool and popular and doing good with women and making money, they wouldn't be worrying about Hitler. They wouldn't be worrying about, you know, white supremacy. They wouldn't be worrying about the Jews. They wouldn't be worrying about that, bro. They'd be worrying about, how do I get a business, bro? How do I make Jewish friends so I can get into the pipeline and get into their, you know, their manufacturing and everything? They'd be worrying about their upline and their downline. That's what they'd be worrying about. But instead, these mofos is got fear on their mind, bro. You have a duty in this country to adopt an incel because you see what happens. Huh? To top off this stupid Sunday is that this mofo did all this in hopes of assassinating President Trump.
Shop.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. This is all what he was planning to do. He already did the first half of Thanos snapping the parents. You tell me why he got $1 million bail as the same as Carmelo Anthony. You explain that one to me, huh? I'm not making it racial. I'm just making an observation. How are those two the same? It doesn't make any sense to me. But nevertheless, nevertheless, I want you to understand that when
Jenny says if they had after-school programs and better people around them, they wouldn't have to go to them. That's true. That's true. RV Zoom says it's $1 million.
you have a Nikita Kassev, Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, that they'll probably argue that, hey, he's not mentally, it's a mental health issue. That's what it is. It's always that. It's never having to do as far as him being the poster child or the representation of the group. Do you ever notice that? When you have a Carmelo Anthony, well, he's a representation of all black people, all right? Well, look at him. That's just how they are. When you have someone like Nikita Kassev, it's like, well, something probably happened to him. He's a poor kid. Something he probably just snapped. They have all the excuses, all right? As Paul Mooney would say, you have Nikita Kassev who says, what happened to you? Well, I just went off because I got depressed and, I just deleted the family. That's what happened. And the judge goes, oh, okay, I understand. We'll have to study that. I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe you're going through some things. But yeah, we're going to put you on, house arrest. That's what we're going to do, okay, until we figure it out. And then you have the black person who's like, they were kept messing with me. I defended myself. That's what it is. I told them, hey, touch me and see what happens. And that's what they did. And, so I defended myself. That's what happens. And the judge goes, oh, really, nigga? Is that what happened? Yeah, you were defending yourself. That's right. Okay, yeah. Well, you're going to have to defend yourself in prison, okay, from Bubba, all right, who's been eyeing you, because we're going to give you life. Bam! And hits the gavel.
Wake up, nigga.
We love TikTok Shop.
That's what happens. That's what happens. You'll never hear them talk about, hey, it's a cultural problem with white people. It's never a cultural problem with them, right? It's always, well, this is an individual. This is the individual. It's always that. That's always the case with them. Because if we were to treat this the same way they treat our black victims, we would simply say, well, it seems that there's a certain group of people based off of pattern recognition that seem to be low IQ and have low impulse control, and also seem to be susceptible to conspiracy theories. That's what it seems to be. And it seems that these people are a threat to the populace. That's what it seems. It seems that they're a threat to civilization in and of itself. I mean, what type of person goes to a grocery store and starts just airing it out, right? What type of person just offs the parents like this? Do y'all remember that one individual, that one dude who had his father's his head? He was holding it. Do y'all remember that? And he had it on camera.
Agreed.
Do y'all remember that? Mum's a word, right? Nothing about culture.
Wild Bill Hill.
Nothing about
True Podcast.
what's wrong with these
Agreed.
people? They need to be locked up. They're savages. They're animals. Okay, they're so violent. Nothing about that. So I just find it very interesting, just the contrast when it comes to covering certain individuals and then other individuals. So just putting that out there. But yeah, when it comes to this kid, I think this story is egregious. I think everyone should know Nikita Kassev. They should definitely know him more than Carmelo Anthony, but this is how the country works. It just is what it is. We choose to be here, and we understand this is how the country works. They will always downplay their violence, their corruption, their evil, their wickedness, as I say, lineage of evil, and they will always upplay ours, even though they're the ones that are responsible for us being in this situation. Because, once again, they never want to take responsibility. Never. That's the lineage of evil. That's what they do. They smack you and then claim victim when you hit them back. That's how that works. So I just wanted to put this out there just so we have, just a reference, okay, a reference of how they treat a white 17-year-old and how they treat a black 17-year-old. Not making it racial, just making an observation. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think.
Okay, so that does it for the third segment of today's show and third and final segment. Again, I don't want that message to get misconstrued or fall upon deaf ears or looked at a certain way, because one thing's for sure, two things for certain. Not all white people are that way. And not all BLK people are uneducated and from the ghetto and on food stamps and all of this, right? And to his point, regardless of how you take his message, to his point, there's facts in what he's saying. You cannot, it makes no justifiable sense to have a BLK 17-year-old who poked and unalived someone who was invading his space and abusing him with a knife, and that person passed away, equate to a person who has really just he just unalived both of his parents, stole their money, all in the attempts to go and unalive our president. You get me? And when there is a BLK person that commits a crime, you cannot just say they're a thug, they're from this point on, they're no good to society. But then you can take a YT person that does the same thing and say it's mental health. Because I don't know who knows or don't know or haven't figured this out, but BLK people can have mental health issues as well. Mental health crisis doesn't have a particular race it caters to. So at the end of the day, and the point of that segment and what he was saying, well, let's not have two different judicial systems or justice systems, right? Let's do away with justice for one race and just us for another race. Let's just have equal justice across the board. That's what he's getting at. That's the point. But it's going to take all of us to fight for that. Okay? And like I told you all before and brought to y'all before, that's how it happens. My own cousin has been in prison for 13 years for unaliving. He did not commit. So you can't say it don't happen. And those are 13 years my cousin can never get back. Shout out to Whistleblower for Justice for agreeing to take on that fight. And so it takes unity for that kind of thing to stop happening. It takes unity for us all to, because this is the one thing. Hold on, bestie. I'm about to bring you up. Let me just get this out real quick. I don't know why it's so hard to comprehend with certain people, but the biggest fear that they have, the higher ups, media, all of that, the biggest fear they have is us working together. That's not what this country was built on. So it's going to take us to change that narrative and work together. Once we do that, we will overcome. Once we do that, they have no choice but to listen. Once we do that, sure, it may take time for things to change. And hell, we might not even be here to see the change. But if we set the foundation for people to build on, if we set that foundation for people to build on, we'll get to that point. We'll get to that point. RV Zumi says cops need to chill. That's true. But see, look what we got, though, RV Zumi. We've got a pretender in chief who are telling or giving free rein to LEOs to go out and do this kind of thing. Look at the BLK movement. I mean, the BLM movement. Why did they hate that so much? Why did they try to paint that in such a negative way? because it was not only BLK people, it was YT people, it was Asian people, it was Hispanic people, all coming together for one common cause. And it put the fear of God in them. Michelle says our judicial system is corrupt and Trump has not helped it at all. Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. And listening to Muskrat, Jenny says, and listening to Muskrat around, that went up too fast. Muskrat around in his ear. Exactly. He's no help. Harvey Zumi says, if you want my honest answer, in Flint, they were, I don't know if I can say that, down places. Yeah, you talking about you talking about the BLK movement? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, you said yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad you brought that up. Because do you not know that police officers were posing as protesters doing that? That's what I mean. That's what today was about. But the media painted it towards you as if it was BLK movement people doing that. But there has been images of law enforcement officers dressed in black hoodies to fit in. I think it was the AutoZone that they destroyed or something like that. But you see, that's the point. That's what I'm getting at. They are doing that to continue the divide. Now, can you agree the FBI was there at January 6th? I don't think that it's yes, to your question, yeah, I can believe that. I can believe that. Because that's one thing we've covered here on hashtag I'm going to say it. There's people in high places that are affiliated with the crimes and the criminal Ponzi that's going on. So yes, to your question, yes. And yes, I do. I can believe that. Not all. I'm not saying all of them there was about that. But yeah, I can believe that. That's definitely not far-fetched at all. Jenny says that's been happening for years, even with those hoods. Yeah, back in the day. Exactly. It's been going on since the beginning of time. You understand? Like, it's just what it is. But at the end of the day, we got to stop. That's the only way this the only way this ends. Yeah. Again, like I said, we're not saying all LEOs are bad. We're definitely not saying that. Just like we're not saying all YT people are racial. Not all BLK people are thugs and uneducated and hoodlums. We're not. And that's what we got to stop. We got to stop living in those narratives and believing those narratives. Like I said before on a previous show, and I'll continuously say it, when God said, love thy neighbor, what did he specify a race or a color? When God said that we are his children, we're all his children, did he specify a race or a color? So if he didn't, what makes you think you better than God to where you can alienate different people because of their race or their skin tone? Answer me that. Bestie, you ready to come up? Riddle me that. We've got to stop people. Period. Bestie, do I have you in here? Did she leave? Marie? It's just that people forget that God made each and every one of us. Yes, in his image. So what's wrong? Okay, you here? Okay, hold on. I'm about to send you an invite right now. Hold on 1 second. There you go, Bessie. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys? Thank you for
I'm
having
doing
me
good.
on. Great.
Absolutely.
Okay, hi everybody. Hi besties. Hi friends. Okay, very quickly, Mr. Breaking News, I just want to recap on the first segment that you did earlier today. That was talking about Indeed and all those other places that, are doing this crazy thing, all these crazy things. Okay, so just let you guys know, I just kind of want to put this out here. I don't know how informative you guys are with all these other things that are going on, but not only Indeed, but also, guys, be careful and mindful of emails because I did receive a couple of emails from private places that are stating that they've seen my information on Indeed or LinkedIn and they just wanted to reach out and offer me an opportunity to come and interview. Those places like that, I mean, they can or cannot be sketchy, but you got to be very careful. And that was one that I kind of entertained, but I didn't put any information in. But they wanted me to interview online, which I found kind of sketchy because I do have a discernment as well. And they wanted me to put in my bank information to see where my checks will be going. And as me being who I am, I'm very inquisitive and I do a lot of research as well. Why would you need my bank information before you're even interviewing me to see if I am a perfect fit for the position and all of the above? So they're not only going on Indeed and these other sites for employment, but they're texting you, they're emailing you, they're letting you know, hey, your profile, we ran across your profile, we're interested in interviewing you. These are the ones who I find kind of sketchy. And if you have any of my information, first and foremost, you're going to give me a phone call. You're going to call me and you're going to talk to me that way. That's what I'm used. I'm old school. I'm 54 years old, so I'm used to the old school thing. So you're not going to, I mean, sometimes they may email you, but just be careful of the text messages, the emails, and people that are calling you and not saying anything when you answer the phone. They're getting your information so that they can use your voice to certain things or whatever they're doing. It's just so many scammers out here that are trying to attack us in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. You have to be very mindful and ask yourself, does this seem right? Does this sound right? If it does not, then it's not. It's not right. And just really pay close attention to that. I mean, I have grown kids that have careers, but I also have twin girls that are 13. And in a couple of years, they'll be working. Will they go on Indeed? They may try to, but I'm going to restrict them from that because of what's happening now. So if you guys have younger kids, teenagers that eventually will be working, educate them on this as well because they're going to be looking for these people. These people prey on them, like the college people, kids. They prey on these people and they're easy. They have easy access to them because they're seeing what they're interested in. They're promising the world, just like Puffy Jack and all them does. They're doing it. They're doing it here. They're doing it to us. So it's just not in the entertainment industry, guys. It's here. It's everywhere. Scammers. They don't want to work. They want to get paid, and they're going to use you and try to unalive you and to take what you have by any means necessary. So just be very careful and mindful of everything. Watch your surroundings. Watch what comes through your email. Don't go on these sites applying for anything. If you can't interview in person, or if something looks legit, I'm not going to go for it because if it don't make dollars, guys, it can't make sense. So pay attention, stay focused, be mindful, protect yourself and your family at all costs by any means necessary. And that's all I got to say. Thank you for having me up here.
Thank you, bestie. Thank you so much.
Love you guys. Love you
Enjoy
guys.
your evening.
Likewise. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Love that lady too. Her energy is awesome and amazing as well. Like I tell you, it's something you guys.
It's breaking news.
You make me want to hug on y'all, man. It's just like it's just amazing. I love it. I love it when we have our days like this. And that was great. Let's give it up. Let's give it up for Marie. Give it up for Marie. That was very, 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 very good advice. And you can tell it came from a caring place. And I love that about this community that we all have collectively built here on hashtag I'm gonna say it. We care about each other genuinely. I do. I love the fact when my notification go off and I got a text from one of you saying, "Hey, hadn't heard from this person in a while. I'm gonna reach out and check on them." Or have you heard from this person? Okay, well we need to listen. It takes the village, and I'm thankful that my village isn't local. My village spreads out amongst masses, and I appreciate all of you for that. You know, um, she's right in what she's saying, ladies. Well, I can't even just say ladies. Everybody, ladies and men, because it happened to men too. Be vigilant. Be mindful of your surroundings and the situations that you're in. You know, talking with JoJo says, "I love it so much. We are family now." Yes, we are, bestie. We are family, and I can't. My heart couldn't love it enough. Like we met as strangers. We came on here and we formed friendships, and these friendships have forged into family ships, and I love it. I love it. I'm extremely blessed for it. I'm extremely blessed for it, and I just thank each and every one of you individually and as a whole. I do. You're very important to me. You know, I get it. And listen, people, I know fast money seems cool. I try to tell my daughter this all the time. I know fast money seems like it's good and it's convenient, but if it's fast money, you can pretty much bet your bottom dollar that there is some things that's going to come with it that could be detrimental to your health and well-being. So don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Hold on. Jenny says, I'm so thankful for each and every one of my besties. Yes, yes, I am. I am as well. Like, I don't know, man. You just never know. Like, there's days I come on here and I may not be feeling it. I may have something troubling me on my mind, and then I hop on here and we get to talking, and it's almost like the proverbial sun just comes out and everything's good. I'm good. It's my therapy, you know. Marie says, if it's too good to be true, sometimes it is. That's so true. That's so true. And we have to, and again, because we said money is the root of all evil. In most cases, it really is. Not all the time, but in most cases, it is. Just saying, says fast money has never been part of anything good. Not any fast money I've seen. It may look good and it may be good for a few minutes or a few moments, but you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to come to a time where it's going to cost you everything and more. You know? So that's what I have for today's show. Thank you all for joining me. Like I said, I won't be able to put all the whole show and post it on this platform. But if you go and follow me on YouTube, I will have the show in its entirety posted on there. It may not be immediately, but give me some time. I'm working on it. Also, if it's your first time here, or even if you've come here and you haven't yet, but you love the content, please subscribe to my channel. It's the gold star on my profile. Hit that, and that way you'll make sure you get all of my notifications when I go live, things I post. You'll get a gold badge next to your name here in the lives that'll say crew. That lets me know that you are my news crew member, right? And when you leave a comment, it'll stand out to me and I'll respond to it quicker. Also, you get to use these special stickers that I have, personalized stickers, within the live as well, okay? And as I said yesterday, at the end of yesterday's show, we do have hashtag I'm Gonna Say It merch available. So if you look forward to wearing that, if you want to let people know you stand on business and you mean what you say, order your hashtag I'm Gonna Say It shirt. Just inbox me and tell me your color and size, and we'll get that taken care of, okay? All right? Once again, I want to shout out Whistleblower for Justice organization. I want to shout out Global Impact Wrestling. It's an awesome thing that you're doing. I love that. I love that so much. It's great. The next show is Thursday, right? Hashtag True Podcast. Thursday, right? I think it's Thursday Throwdown, 5 o'clock on YouTube, I believe. Marie says, thank you for having me on, Best. Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. And you gave some very, very, very sound and great advice. I appreciate that. Hashtag. Okay, he said, yes, sir, 5 p.m. All right, y'all. So make sure you go on YouTube and follow G Smooth 404 and Global Impact Wrestling, CAW. Okay, and you can keep up with the shows. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. You all have a blessed day. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow. This has been Mr. Breaking News, your self-proclaimed favorite news reporter, reporting live from the newsroom.